Okay, guys. Now, the next one is chapter 22, and it's called Marking Time. And then we're going to get into the conclusion. Not going to read the acknowledgments. And I will do the appendices because there's a lot of good information in there. So, chapter 22, Marking Time. Living in the Seasons. The best aspect of homesteading, as far as I'm concerned, is the mindful appreciation of the passage of time. Homesteading, no matter how it's practiced, involves being attuned to how the seasons move through your life. There's a season for everything you do on a homestead. Strawberries are bought when they're the freshest. Canning food happens at the harvest. Winter means rest and planning. Despite the fact that every aspect of homesteading is new every day, there's something eternal about living in the seasons and being acutely aware of them. After all, spring, summer, fall, and winter come every year at the same time. Somehow, by plugging into those seasons, it makes me feel more a part of the world, like something about me, no matter how old I get or what happens to me, will come around every year too. It's difficult to describe unless you get to experience it for yourself, but it's well worth experiencing. It's also something that most people in America don't get to experience anymore. Most people tend to spend the bulk of their time at work, which truthfully is a good and noble thing. It does mean, however, that those same people are going to spend a lot of their time locked away from the elements. They'll go to their climate controlled offices to work all day. When it's time to go home, they climb into their climate controlled cars and drive to their climate controlled homes. Homesteaders don't. Homesteaders, especially if they also work away from home, are constantly in sync with the seasons. As a result, there's a bit less pressure, as homesteaders know that the flowers will bloom part of the year, the kale will be the sweetest another time of the year, and the apples will ripen at yet another time. Faith in homesteading. And this is really important, especially to us as Faith First Farm and Homestead. Homesteaders seem to overwhelmingly be people of faith. Even the agnostics and atheists among homesteaders tend to live in reverence of nature. It makes sense, actually. Culturally speaking, most religions, at least one time or another, use their holidays and festivals to mark the changing of seasons. Passover and Easter are both indicators of the beginning of spring. Pongal is a harvest festival celebrated by Hindus. Christmas marks the beginning of winter. Those festivals and holidays, which are intertwined with culture and faith, are markers of significant agricultural times and phenomenon. Celebrate the seasons. But how do you mark time if you aren't religious? There are dozens of ways to do it. Astronomically speaking, you can mark the beginning of every season based on the position of the stars. The dates are provided by the National Weather Service as well as the Farmer's Almanacs. Whenever those times of year come around, take some time and celebrate them. You don't have to be religious or even the same religion as others to enjoy a meal with friends and family to celebrate the harvest season. Find out when the farmer's market will have fresh strawberries at the beginning of the season and declare it your own personal strawberry day. Celebrate it by having cocktails with friends or simply eating some strawberries on your front porch. The idea is to approach the seasons and their markers with a sense of mindfulness and purpose. Check the almanac. Need a schedule to help mark the passage of time? Get a farmer's almanac or the Stella Natura. Both provide readers with the time to do just about everything. Want to know when to sign a contract? Check the almanac. When is the best time to build a fence? Check the almanac. Despite the almanac's insistence on using astrology to guide human behavior, which could lead to a rejection of its advice, there's still something to be said for a season calendar that's still able to tell you when to plant potatoes and buy new clothes. Alright, and here's the conclusion. Modern homesteading at its core is the simple act of living mindfully within nature while respecting the cycles that govern the world and everything in it. While that may sound overly spiritual and new agey, ultimately it's just embracing the world as it is. By experiencing the seasons, taking a little time and space to separate us from the blatant consumerism of the world economy, and by reaching out to our family, friends, and neighbors, we work hard to achieve a more balanced view of the world. Homesteaders raise chickens in their backyards, bake their own bread, grow their own herbs, use a sewing machine, plant a garden, and can their own food. Homesteaders are the do-it-yourselfers, the makers, and the fence builders. They're modern day pioneers. They enjoy boots and jeans, and they work hard to separate themselves from the rat race. They enjoy good food, good music, and good books, but they also do other things. Homesteading is a mindset, just like we've said, as much as it is a lifestyle. Sometimes homesteading is just a dream, an ideal, or a goal. Everyone, no matter their skill level or what they know, can contribute to the movement. Aww, your little baby. Even the simple act of making a home cooked meal is an act of homesteading. And in this day and age of fast food and frozen dinners, a good meal can be just as revolutionary and groundbreaking as a yurt in Montana. Everyone can contribute to the modern homesteading movement, and hopefully, this book has provided you with some ideas and methods to make that happen. All right, and that's the end of that. And the next one is going to be the first appendix on a sample farm plan, which I think is really important, so I definitely will be doing these. The second appendix is on the basics of composting. That's also really important to homesteading. Appendix 3 is on tools needed for the homestead. And Appendix 4, soil fertility basics. Oh, and Appendix 5 is on solarizing raised beds, which I think is kind of cool. So, and I will go ahead and get off from here, and I will see you guys in a little bit on the first appendix. So, I will see you guys in a bit. Bye, guys. Remember, guys, do your research. Do your research. I'll see you guys in a few minutes.